First of all, a huge thank you to everyone hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. Your support truly makes all the difference. Now, let's dive into the latest twist that's left the entire Formula One community speechless. While everyone's eyes were focused on Red Bull and their internal drama, an unexpected name has started making noise in the paddock: Franco Colapinto. The young Argentine driver, long considered a rising talent in the junior categories, has now been catapulted into the center of attention due to a surprising move involving Christian Horner and Helmut Marko. Apparently, Red Bull's top brass has been closely watching Colapinto's progress, and there's talk that the team is re-evaluating its future lineup. What's even more shocking is that Colapinto isn't being discussed as a distant prospect, but rather as a serious candidate to step into the spotlight sooner than expected. Insiders claim that conversations have already taken place between Red Bull and representatives linked to Colapinto's management. The timing couldn't be more interesting, especially considering the uncertainty surrounding Checo Perez's seat and the rumors swirling around Verstappen's long-term plans with the team. What adds more fuel to the speculation is the fact that Colapinto has been recently invited to key events, and his name is circulating in some very high places. It's no longer just about talent. Now it's about politics, strategy, and making a bold bet on youth. Some say this is Helmut Marko's way of pushing back against Christian Horner's influence. Others believe it's simply Red Bull preparing for every scenario, including a future without Max or Checo. Whatever the truth is, one thing's for sure: Franco Colapinto is no longer just another junior driver. He's now part of the conversation for one of the most coveted seats in Formula One. Whether this becomes a reality or remains just a rumor, we'll be here breaking it all down for you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you want to stay on top of all the behind-the-scenes moves in F1. There's a lot more coming your way. Before anything else, thank you so much for subscribing and dropping a like. It really helps this channel keep growing and bringing you the best inside stories from Formula One. Now, buckle up, because what's happening behind the scenes between Honda, Aston Martin, and Max Verstappen could shake the sport to its core. Even Red Bull's senior advisor, Helmut Marko, has openly acknowledged that the astonishing progress made by Aston Martin, now firmly based in Silverstone, might be enough to lure Verstappen into considering a dramatic change of scenery. The Dutchman, currently a four-time world champion and the face of Red Bull's dominance, stands at a crossroads. Would he really roll the dice on such a bold move? That's the million-dollar question echoing through the paddock. But there's one thing that's becoming more and more clear: Honda isn't stepping back. They've made it unmistakably known that their ultimate ambition is to reunite with Max Verstappen. And with a long-term partnership already in place with Aston Martin, that team is now their one viable launchpad to turn that dream into reality. Koji Watanabe, Honda's president, recently underlined just how serious they are. In a striking statement, he spoke about the privilege of working alongside Adrian Newey within the Aston Martin project, a figure of monumental technical expertise whose presence is already elevating the team's strategic direction. It's becoming increasingly obvious that Honda isn't just supplying power units. They want a decisive voice at the table, especially when it comes to who gets behind the wheel. So what's the bigger picture here? All signs point to a brewing storm, one shaped by ambition, control, and the desire to leave a lasting legacy. Honda hasn't returned to Formula One just to make up the numbers. They've come back to take over. And if everything aligns as they hope, we might witness the most electrifying driver lineup in decades. 4 months now, Honda has been repeating a simple but powerful mantra: we are committed to building a truly competitive Formula One car, together. But the depth of this collaboration might be far greater than anyone expected. While the number of teams using Honda engines is set to shrink, the Japanese giant has made it clear that it won't be a passive partner, especially when it comes to deciding who will drive their machinery. They've publicly stated that while the final decision on the 2026 driver lineup officially belongs to Aston Martin, Honda will continue to exert influence behind the curtain, just as they did during their successful stint with Red Bull. And let's not forget, Honda played a pivotal role in elevating Yuki Tsunoda through the Red Bull ranks. Without Honda's backing, the Japanese driver likely would have been shown the door long ago. Even now, as Honda's Red Bull era comes to an end, whispers around the paddock suggest that the manufacturer still had a hand in keeping Tsunoda in the spotlight. This alone says a lot about Honda's future intentions. Once their alliance with Aston Martin is in full swing, they won't settle for anything less than creating a super team. And at the center of that vision, Max Verstappen. But Honda isn't alone. Standing firmly in their corner is none other than Adrian Newey, the legendary technical mastermind. His recent frustrations with Lawrence Stroll have only thrown more fuel onto an already roaring fire. Earlier this year, rumors swirled that a tense behind-closed-doors meeting took place between Lawrence Stroll and Newey. Allegedly, Newey didn't sugarcoat his opinion. Lance lacks what it takes to unlock the full potential of the next-generation car. That blunt statement sent shockwaves through the garage. And even though Lance has claimed all 10 of Aston Martin's championship points across the first 3 races of 2025, context matters. His past performances have often fallen flat. Inconsistency, questionable racecraft, and a lack of clear growth have left many doubting whether Aston Martin can really build a championship team around him. The logical path forward? Lean on Fernando Alonso's wealth of experience, while bringing in Verstappen to deliver that knockout punch of winning power. Of course, Alonso has already hinted that he may retire at the end of the season. Unless, that is, Aston Martin offers him something truly extraordinary. His no-nonsense attitude and relentless drive are arguably why the team has advanced as far as it has. This is where Honda's strategy and Verstappen's future begin to align. Speaking recently about the possibility of working with Max once again, Koji Watanabe didn't hold back. He openly expressed his desire to collaborate with Verstappen again. "Honestly, I truly hope we get the chance to work with Max once more," he said. "I've spoken with him many times over the years and always appreciated his mindset and professionalism." Watanabe also emphasized that Max is much more than just a talented racer. He's a rare communicator, someone who deeply connects with Honda's engineering teams. "He speaks with clarity," Watanabe added. "And that clarity, that sharpness of thought, might just be the key that unlocks Honda's dream scenario." So what does it all mean? It means the chessboard is shifting. Power is being repositioned. And somewhere in the eye of the storm, Verstappen stands quietly, holding the next move in his hands. Stay tuned, and if you haven't yet, hit that like button and subscribe for more exclusive F1 insights. This saga is far from over. He understands exactly what he wants. He helps the team evolve. And that's why the engineers admire him not just as a world-class driver, but as a human being. This isn't about some shallow corporate alignment. It's a partnership built on mutual respect and admiration. When a 4-time world champion shares a vision with a manufacturer as technically ambitious and emotionally committed as Honda, the entire landscape shifts. This no longer feels like a hypothetical scenario. It starts to look like a matter of time. Max Verstappen has spoken about his history with Honda, acknowledging how their partnership created something truly special. He reflects on what they achieved together, from race wins to titles, and leaves the door open to whatever the future might bring. He knows the chapter may be closed for now, but he also reminds everyone that he's still young and nothing is permanent. Red Bull, meanwhile, finds itself in a tough spot. They're trying to hold on to their champion while their car is currently trailing behind the top 2, sometimes third, sometimes even 4th best. And yet, despite the drop in machinery performance, Verstappen is second in the standings after 3 races, just 1 point shy of Lando Norris. But underneath the surface, a deeper issue is bubbling. Is Red Bull still the right environment for Max moving forward? And more importantly, can Aston Martin truly rise to meet the moment? A big piece of that puzzle is Lance Stroll's seat. Sure, his season opened well on paper. But years of inconsistent performances haven't been erased. The real question is whether Lance has what it takes to lead a top team, or whether his place is secured only by his father's ownership. And here lies the dilemma. Would Lawrence Stroll be willing to remove his own son to make room for a generational champion? This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity for Aston Martin. Two icons in one garage. But the only thing standing between that and reality is a father's emotional bond. Without Lance, Lawrence would never have bought into the sport. That connection runs deep. But is that bond strong enough to ignore what could be the team's greatest shot at a championship? Former F1 driver Juan Pablo Montoya chimed in with a take that raised some eyebrows. He believes Verstappen will eventually join Aston Martin, but not by replacing Lance. Instead, he thinks Max could take Fernando Alonso's seat. He argues that Verstappen will be offered a deal too good to refuse. He may give Red Bull another year, but with Newey joining the team, it will take time before the car reaches its full potential. Even Newey can't create miracles overnight. This all leads to a massive crossroads. Verstappen, Alonso, Newey, Honda. A storm is brewing in Silverstone, and the puzzle pieces are beginning to align. The only unknown is whether Lawrence Stroll will set aside personal ties long enough to see the bigger picture. One thing is certain. The 2026 driver market could be the most chaotic in decades. New regulations, new dynamics, and brand new team structures will need to form synergy from the ground up. Over time, they'll improve. No doubt. But that doesn't automatically translate to immediate dominance. If Red Bull struggles out of the gate in the new era, don't be shocked if Verstappen makes a move by the third race and signs elsewhere. Modern F1 is ruthless. Timing is everything. And Max doesn't wait around when history is on the line. If I were Max, I'd be giving Aston Martin some serious thought. Mercedes is still respectable, their legacy undeniable. But when you factor in Adrian Newey's arrival, Honda's renewed commitment, and the shared success from their past, Aston Martin seems like the smartest choice. Still, there's a big catch. If Max and Red Bull maintain their strong relationship and he truly intends to see his contract through until 2028, then Honda will need to look elsewhere. Their contingency plan is no secret. Yuki Tsunoda has been groomed for a scenario like this. But even then, Honda has never treated Yuki like a guaranteed number one. They've been transparent. He won't be kept in the sport just out of loyalty or national pride. And when it comes down to choosing between Yuki and Max, there's no debate. Honda will always go after Max. Which brings us back to the real question. Will Lawrence Stroll be emotionally and strategically ready to remove his son from the team to make room for a four-time world champion? This isn't just a motorsport call. It's personal. Lawrence has made it clear through recent business moves that he's in F1 to stay. He's not just here to invest and walk away. He wants to build something. A legacy. A team capable of winning it all, molded in his own image. But that dream collides with a hard truth. Lance Stroll might not have the raw pace or consistency needed to become a world champion. And if he ever does, it'll probably be under highly specific conditions. A car vastly superior to the rest and a teammate who's either far less capable or under strict team orders. In short, a setup that feels artificial. This looming decision raises serious questions. What does Aston Martin really want to be? Are they genuinely chasing world titles or protecting an emotional investment? Because if they truly want to fight for constructors and drivers' championships, difficult decisions are on the horizon. Especially when one seat is held by someone whose merit is being overshadowed by his surname. Then there's Honda. How much say do they really have in driver selection? Are they influential enough to override emotional boardroom decisions? Can they push Lawrence to make the tough calls that winning demands? One thing is crystal clear. The board is shifting. Honda is all in for Max. Newey is already in place. Alonso might step aside. The stars are aligning. But does Aston Martin have the courage to seize the moment? Let us know where you stand in the comments. How do you see Aston Martin's lineup taking shape once the dust settles? And how much power do you think Honda really wields in all of this? Once you've shared your thoughts, don't forget to click the next video on your screen for deeper analysis of Formula One's most explosive power move yet.